I want to say there's so many kind of heroes in a game like that for ULM. You just don't know where to start because there were so many opportunities for us to probably feel like we had no chance or it wasn't going to be our possibility of winning. And we would lose momentum and we would get it back and we would get it back and you just assumed that quarterback would take over. But we kept fighting and playing. And it was just a win with a lot of heroes for our football team. I know in all my career, and this is my 25th year as a head coach, I don't know what it means to be an underdog or the number of points that means when you're a certain amount of points. But I know whatever that means, I've never coached in a game that I've been that much of an underdog and won a game. But we've had a couple of big games like that, and I just credit our players for believing that they could come out there and play their hardest. And if they played their hardest, they have a chance to win against anybody. I think if there's a definitive moment in that game of what we were willing to do and how we were ready to play was when they blocked that field goal, and that's something we worked on all week because they're very good at pushing that guard on field goals. But they were able to block it anyway, and for Zach Rasmussen to run him down at the 1 or 2 yard line, and then our defense to hold him to no score, and that whole transition comes out to 0-0. That to me that was probably of all the many plays that we had after that will be recorded as the plays that made the difference. I think that one was a play that represented our football team and how badly they want to win and what they're willing to do for our tight end to run him down and make that tackle and then for us to make that stop. From that play, almost in the very first series or two, to the final 53-yard field goal. It's funny, I called field for the field goal team. Then I thought about it. I said, man, we're going to put them in pretty good field position, and they're so good at block. I don't want to have a block field goal or something there, keep us from going to overtime and maybe winning it there. But then we called another play. Then we had a timeout, and I said, no, let's just field goal. Every day in practice, we put him back as far as he can go, Sutherland. We said, let's make sure every single day in practice we know your distance. And it's been about 56 yards. And I said, we're not going to probably ever kick that unless it's the last play of the first half or last play of the game. I said, but at least we know you can make a 56-yarder without messing anything up. And that one was only 53. And I looked at him and I said, you make that every day. And he did. He made it with room to spare. But that was just one of many big plays. Defense had 2 fourth-down stops. They had 3 interceptions. Offensively, we finally finished. We've struggled to find a quarterback with Rhett being out and Chandler coming in that didn't know everything about our offense. It limits Coach Rodriguez and what he can call and what we can execute. But we just got better and better, and our quarterback is beginning to understand how to run that offense. And we're just so proud of that. Big catches by several receivers. Will Derrick, one of our captains for the game, made the huge catch on that last drive to keep us a chance to make that field goal. That's just a huge play for Will Derrick, who walked on, earned a scholarship, and made just one of the big plays of the game. So it was big all the way around, big for us. And really, there were so many times you said, that the other team came out flat. But there were so many times for our kids to quit or them to come back, and it looked like they had the momentum. And our guys could say, they're just too good, or they have momentum. But momentum changed several times, and we were able to take it back. And at that point, I have to say, we went out there and played the best we could, and tonight it was an opportunity for us to win. If there's any questions, I'll answer questions if you have any.
Coach, that was probably the most complete game that you had your team play this year. Was there a different approach this week in practice leading up to the game?
No, I think the biggest thing, defense have had some really good games. And I think defensively, I felt, last 2 weeks we've struggled defensively. They've really struggled with triple option. We did know that this offense was not that style. And that style we may still have to work on because we got hit pretty hard at Coastal and at Georgia State. But Liberty runs, they're just a scheme that we seem to handle a little bit better, a conventional running attack, but a very, very good quarterback. We were able to keep them from hitting the deep ball. The deep ball in the passing game was huge. We were able to stop them from hitting any of those really for big plays. And the quarterback made some huge runs. He's going to make huge runs, but he didn't kill you with those runs. So it was the most complete game. I think the key offensively is that Chandler Rogers, it's only because he's beginning to understand what each play is. I mean, he's only been here since late July that he signed with us, and so he's just kind of learning all these things, and so he's going to get better and better. Of course, and Rhett may be back, and so that was a big plus for that we were able to run our offense and execute it. We'll look at the video. We had a lot of mistakes. We had penalties on kicking game, a blocked field goal, a couple of penalties on returns to put us way back deep. And I think we had some things that we had some breakdowns that we've got to correct. But overall, it was just a lot of great heart and a lot of great effort against an outstanding Liberty football team that hasn't lost a lot of football games, and it's beat some outstanding teams in the last couple of years.
Their long completion was 20 yards, Coach.
Biggest one?
20.
Excuse me?
Star tonight. Tim Buckley, I'm covering for the News Star tonight.
Okay, Tim. Hey, Tim.
What do you think allowed Rodgers to be as efficient as he was tonight? And you referenced it, but how much can an inexperienced kid just kind of grow up from a game like
Well,
that?
that's the whole deal. Every game, if we had everybody coming back and we were not real good, we wouldn't have a lot of growth. That's what we would be. But we've got a lot of new people that are here playing offensively, from the offensive line to wide receivers to the quarterbacks, especially running backs. And so every game we should get better, because we're not just trying to get better after running the same thing for 3 years. We're getting better having only run it for 6 weeks. And so we expect that. And that's why I think I was so disappointed against Georgia State. I don't want to go back to that game, but we struggled in that game, and the biggest thing was from this team is what we didn't get down. We stayed motivated and pumped. But I think Chandler Rogers being able to run the offense has been a key for us, because he does have ability running the football, and he has a good arm throwing the football when he learns where to throw it and when to run, when to hand off, and all those things. And we'll find in games there's still a lot of opportunities for him to even get better and better as he makes good decisions with the football.
Anything else for Coach? You guys good? All right, appreciate it, Coach.
One more here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
This was Paul. Just the third quarter. You guys only scored 19 points in third quarters of all the games this
Yeah.
year, in a 28-point third quarter to turn this thing around and get you not just back in the game, but with a nice lead going in. So just talk about that third quarter in general.
Well, I mean, like I say, we've got key personnel at the quarterback position that's learning what to do, and I think the way we try to play, the tempo that we try to play, if we can execute first down, if you look back at our people that followed us, we have really struggled on first downs, and that it ruins the tempo of your offense, the continuity of your play calling when everything's second long, third long. And so even the yardage where we get 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, it helped us so much. So I think we challenged our team at halftime. We were down 14-0. I said, man, you guys can play for 30 more minutes like that if you'll play, because we played hard that first half. We were down 14, but we played hard. And I said, man, if you'll play as hard as you played first half, and offense, if you can go out there and get a score the first drive, we can win this football game. And they did exactly that. And then it just started to flow. And you could see, I think any of us could see that, and of course I'm not a play caller like I've been most of my life, and I'm able to watch, and you be able to see the flow work, that you can see the offense begin to come together. And I think that's as much because Chandler Rogers now kind of understands what he's supposed to do on so many plays. And so I'm just anticipating us working hard and getting better and better, and just, again, we've got to continue to improve. But that was kind of a key for us, having that explosive second quarter. We really moved the ball pretty good the first half. We just couldn't finish. That's been a problem of us as we get to the red zone, and you've got to execute a lot better. It really was something we've not been able to do. But we really scored in the red zone, touchdowns in the red zone when we had to score, and so we were. I think that was a real factor.